This has been the update we have been waiting for from Leica. Firmware 4.0 for the SL3, SL3-S, also an autofocus update for the Q3, Q3 4.3, and Q3 monochrome. But what I'm talking about here in autofocus applies to the Q3 systems as well. Beyond the autofocus though, they've given us a ton of new features, and they've really brought these cameras to be competitive in the 2025-2026 marketplace. On top of that, I got a chance to speak to Stefan Daniel, Executive Vice President of Technology and Operations at Leica, about these new updates. Let's get down to it. Hey, Stefan, how are you? Thank you so much. This is a great honor. So let's jump in right into the SL system here, because the M is so unique, and then you have the Q lineup. But how do you see the SL system in terms of where it's at today and the future?
The SL is our most versatile camera system. M is very specific. It's reportage, it's slower photography, more conscious, no autofocus, etc. The Q has a fixed lens. So the SL is, I would say, our workhorse for photographers and videographers. And also with the choice of the lenses, which are available from Leica, but also within the L mount, I think we have the broadest and most versatile tool in the toolbox.
One of the big features of this update is a new and improved enhanced autofocusing system. But talking about that, I mean, how do you guys get your feedback from customers? Are you going online watching YouTube videos or reviews or customers in the store? I mean, how are you taking in this feedback to sort of understand what the customer wants and what the users want, and trying to find the right balance between needs and wants and putting them into these cameras?
We are in the very comfortable situation that we have a close relationship to our customers. And even if we don't ask and something is not right and not as good as they expected, they tell it to us. And we're so grateful for that. So that's the first source of inspiration. Then, of course, we are scanning in a way also what people think about it, what the comments on the web are, in the forums, wherever. And also then if we approach, if we have an idea of how to improve it and what to improve, we also do customer research and let people try it before it really is released to the public.
As a matter of fact, I actually had the firmware in the camera for a little bit of time, and I took it with me to a baseball game. And I was extremely impressed at how much stickier this autofocusing system is compared to the previous version. And I had it next to another camera system, don't want to say what it is, but this really held its own, considering it's the SL3, not even the SL3-S.
Striking improvement is the autofocus performance, which are now also AI assisted. And really, I think it's absolutely state of the art now. Yeah. And we don't need to hide for nothing or for nobody. Yeah.
But speaking of that, I mean, obviously autofocusing for photography is one aspect, but let's talk about video and some of the new features that you brought into this firmware update when it comes to video.
First of all, it's a mirrorless full frame camera system, and we are not alone in this market. So we want to have a viable option for people who need such performance in a camera, both photography and video, but they want to shoot on a Leica. They want to have that craftsmanship, that feel of the camera, the intuitive operation. But on the other hand, what you know from maybe other brands like Autofocus Performance, etc., this needs to be state of the art. And we knew that we had a little bit of things to catch up. And I think now we did that. This
firmware update definitely makes it a much more competitive camera in terms of the marketplace. But I want to talk a little bit about the L mount alliance, because I mean, you've obviously, brought in Viltrox recently, Shure, you got DJI, Blackmagic. I mean, the L mount alliance has definitely grown over the years. Now, when I talk to fans of Leica and people that have the SL3, SL3-S and older SL cameras, they're always a little bit apprehensive to try to use one of these other manufacturers' lenses. What do you say about that? I mean, is there some sort of criteria that's involved to be part of the L mount alliance, like some sort of, like, say, optic qualifications, or how does that work?
That was the basic idea of the L-mount Alliance, to offer together a broader choice than just staying on our own, and Panasonic staying on their own, and Sigma and all the others. That was the basic idea, to team up, to have not 1 + 1 makes 2, but more than 2. And I think since we launched it 7 years ago, it has proven that it works brilliantly. All the members are super satisfied with the L-mount Alliance. And coming to your question of the customers, try it. If you don't like it, resell it or whatever. Of course, we are most happy if you stick to Leica lenses. Yeah.
Yes.
But on the other hand, there is a fixed specification, how both mechanically, software-wise, interface-wise, which has to be respected by every L-mount Alliance member. And so far, we have very little, incompatibility issues and so on, because every L-mount member is also requested to test it with all the other components. And it seems to work super well, from many manufacturers now. And it's an enrichment to the benefit of the customer.
No, I mean, I understand that. I mean, for me, if I want to do, let's say, sports or wildlife, and obviously Leica doesn't have all the focal lengths, I might look at Sigma or Panasonic, or now even, let's say, CRA or Viltrox that they've entered into the fold. But I think what I'm trying to get at is there some sort of, let's say, optical qualification in terms of they have to hit a certain level of optics to have lenses part of the L-mount Alliance?
There are no minimum standards for the optical performance. There are some specifications laid down in order to ensure compatibility when it comes to the thickness of cover glasses. Also, like lenses which have some inferior performance, because it gives a special look to it. So it's another flavor you can add to the whole dish. Yeah, so to say.
With that said, kind of bringing it back. I mean, where do you think you see the SL system going, let's say, in the next 2 to 5 years?
It's our most versatile workhorse or tool in the toolbox, and we continue that way. I could imagine that we also enrich the portfolio by further models, which are also available in parallel. Yeah, I can't be more specific, but we keep on evolving the SL system, not only by new cameras, but also by wonderful lenses which are about to come, and it's fantastic what we have in front of us.
Talking about lenses for a minute, your last Oppo lens, I believe, was a 21, if I'm not mistaken, right? Has there been any talks about revisiting the Oppo lineup, adding maybe more, or maybe even something to do with the 2490? I mean, it's a fan favorite. I mean, that lens has been out since, I think, 2015, since the original SL launch. And it has been tried and tested and still holds up after all these years. But it's a little bit on the larger size. I mean, has there been any discussions to maybe sort of revisit that focal length?
Nice try, Bobby.
I tried.
Sorry for that. I will not go any further because otherwise, we will put this rumor machine in place, and we shouldn't do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Stefan, for your time today. I really appreciate this. And I mean, again, such a big update. But I mean, this is just a wish list for me. We have a 24 megapixel. Now we have a 60 megapixel. Maybe one day we could have something in between that kind of gives us, good resolution, but also speed. I don't know, just a wish list of mine, but.
And maybe another word to on the same date, when we launch the SL firmware update, the same will also be available for our Leica Cube cameras, for the Q3, with the improved autofocus, AI tracking, etc., for our Cube customers, as a little Christmas gift.
Thank you. That's a very nice Christmas gift. So, Merry Christmas, everyone, courtesy of Leica. Big thanks to Stefan once again for taking time out of his day to chat with me about this update, because this is really massive. But let's dive a little bit deeper into the autofocusing, because I think this is going to be the one feature that a lot of you out there are very excited about. and myself as well. And I've actually been trying it for the past couple of weeks on both of these cameras. The autofocusing system has been simplified in some ways and enhanced in others. Case in point, when you go to the autofocusing system now on this, you have three options. You have field spot has been merged to one, zone multifield, and you have tracking. Now, field spot and zone multifield, you can adjust the size of the autofocusing point. So if you're one of these people that wants that little crosshair for that very finite shot, you can do that now. You can adjust that size and then go back to whatever size you want it to be. So they've kind of brought that all together. Subject detection is now on a separate menu right there on the main grid, but it's there for people and animals, and it has been enhanced. By the way, animal is finally out of beta. It can detect the eyes, the body of the animal. It can do birds, cats, dogs, wolves, big cats, and probably other animals as well too. I haven't gone to the zoo with this one, but it can detect a lot. Unfortunately, because I can't record what my EVFC is out of the SL3 or SL3-S, so they still haven't added that feature. I asked them about this. They said they are looking into it. It's very hard for me to show you some of these updates and some of the speed of this autofocusing system. I'll try my best. It is definitely faster. But let's talk about people for a second. Now, I took this to a baseball game, not even the SL3-S, the SL3. This locked on extremely well. This has half the phase detect autofocusing points as the SL3-S. So that's gonna be more of a sports-centric camera. This is gonna be more for portrait, lifestyle, kind of a slower photography scenarios. And I had another camera with me, another brand, new camera to the market, getting a lot of rave reviews on its autofocusing. This held its own, considering that it's not as many phase detect points and everything else. It did a fantastic job. But again, if you want to capture more fast action, sports, wildlife, whatever have you, I would say go with the SL3-S because that's definitely the camera for it. On top of that, you have multi-shot now here on the SL3. 241 megapixels handheld. In addition, startup times, much faster. The touch interface is quicker, more responsive. And that leads me into video. They've improved it. Let's talk about it. Anamorphic support is now in the SL3, SL3-S D-squeeze factors from 1.25 up to 2, including 1.6, which is something we saw recently from the Lumix lineup, is now included here. Now, there is one caveat to this that you need to know. It only works for manual focus anamorphic lenses. If you're using autofocus lenses, like I'm using the Sirui Astra right now, it does not apply to that. They are working with Sirui from what I understand, and there may be an update in the near future, but as of right now, only manual focus anamorphic, but there is image stabilization, so that's really cool. You also have 4:3 aspect ratio inside of this now for anamorphic. So if you want to shoot in that aspect ratio for better, de-squeeze factor and look, you can now do that with 4:3. That's inside the SL3 and SL3-S respectively. And you have a better grid overall in terms of how to allocate settings, because the previous one was a little bit of a hit and miss, but this is much, much better. Also, one more thing I want to talk about on this is frame markers are now inside of this. Now, this is something that I loved on the Lumix cameras because you can have 16:9, 9:16. You can do different aspect ratios. You can have all those frame markers on your display. So when you're recording video, you know how to sort of crop or reframe if you need to throughout your process. So you really got to know your mathematics on this one, but it's there. And it's a very welcome addition. And it's also nice because you can see through the EVF if you're recording like this as well. So hats off to Leica for including this in. Small thing, but especially in this day and age where we're shooting vertical and also, horizontal content, this makes a world of difference. Now we're going to talk about Frame IO support. I was not expecting this, but we have it now for both the SL3 and SL3-S. If you haven't used Frame IO before, it's a great software from Adobe which you can actually upload your content. If you're working with editors or a team remotely, they can see it. They can, work for photos and videos. I use it a lot for my editors, so if they can upload the video that I want to, make notes on, I can give finite notes. It's much better than using Google Drive or anything else like that. That's now available in both of these cameras, which is really cool. There's a ton of small features. There's just so much to this Firmware 4.0 system that, I can't list them all for you here. You can go to the website to find out more, but these are just some of the top line ones. But my biggest takeaway from this update, and also speaking to the engineers, is Leica is listening. They are watching the YouTube videos. They are reading the forums. They are really taking in the feedback. And they told me, look, what we can improve on, we will improve on. Some features people want, we just can't do, but we'll try to do our best. And this Firmware 4.0 is a testament to that. they added a lot of new features. I didn't list everything here because this video would be very long, but you can go to the website and obviously you can update your camera if you have it already and see what this does. But you're gonna be very happy with the autofocus, number one. Anamorphic support is great, video settings, all that's so much better. I'm just thrilled Leica is addressing some of these points and also looking into the future. By the way, I did talk to them a little bit about the manual focus issue that we had with the SL3 and SL3-S, where it's not as sharp or the focus peaking wasn't as accurate. They are aware of the issue, and that's all they'll tell me. So I think something's coming because these guys, they know what's up. Anyway, that's it. Big thank you to Stefan Daniel for his time, for that great conversation. And big thank you to all of you for the support. Greatly appreciate it. Like, subscribe. With that, take care. Let's enjoy using these cameras.